Ali.
Tag team. Here we go. Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, can't complain. How are you? You're right.
Very, very good. So, Ali, you're going to be playing for us a Dwale Decruz. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Decruz, yeah.
Decruz. And you are a halfling who's grown up near the edge of the deep wood forest. And your mother is a herbalist. Am I correct?
Yeah. So, herbalist dabbles in magic as well, but yeah.
So, would you like to describe your character at about age 12 and, what she's been doing so far?
Sure. So, Dwale and her mother have basically lived with each other her whole life. She, or I, her father died when, my father died when I was born. Well, rather, he left. So my mother's never really gotten over that. And so, but at the same time, she has loved me, and we've just lived together. And she does a lot of work for the nearby towns and villages. She'll make herbs and poultices and potions and healing tonics for those that need her. And she's often quite in high demand. So Dwale spent most of her life going through the woods, just helping her mother collect things, doing tasks for her mother, and just living a simple life because that's the only life she ever knew.
Okay, yeah, well that's perfect. In fact, so what does she look like?
Dwale is, so as I said, she's about 3'9". At her current age, at age 12, obviously she was about, I don't know, 2 foot. But she's got very long, very long, just down to about her waist, brunette hair, kind of like a deep chocolatey brown. She's quite, she's kind of got a bit like sun-kissed skin from sort of being out and about all the time with her mother. And she's got it's only if you really look, because of her skin has gotten a bit tanned with the sun, but she does have a bit of a smattering of freckles as well.
Okay, so we're gonna find you. We're gonna find you at age 12. You're out gathering herbs for your mother. You're in a section of the forest that you know quite well. You know some sections of it are dangerous, and you try not to go there. And you're gathering herbs in your normal oh god it. No, it's fine. We can work with this. You're gathering herbs as you normally would. Whilst you are doing this, you hear a crying sound.
Oh, God.
From a section of the forest you wouldn't normally go to.
Okay. Let me see. What I do is, just as safety precautions, and just because my mother won't let me go without one, but I have a very large stick that's usually used for beating back thick undergrowth. So I'd probably just pick up the stick and hold it quite tightly as I got my basket of herbs and stuff looped under my other arm, and I just sort of proceed towards the crying noise.
Okay, so you head into this slightly more dangerous section of forest.
Okay.
And you see a very small baby bear nuzzling its mother, which has been crushed by a fallen tree.
All right. Fair enough. I don't really know. I'd probably just sort of take a hesitant step towards the bear, because although, it's a cub and it's cute and fluffy, it's still
this thing's tiny. Like, it can only be a matter
of tiny.
Like a matter of weeks. Like it looks like a teddy bear. Like it's probably about this. It's probably just about the size of your head, and it's a tiny little thing.
Okay. Well, I probably, because sort of herbs and berries I've got in my basket, I probably just rummage around and just see if I can find some blueberries in my basket and just hold them out to the bear.
Yeah, okay.
And see if he'll
It
have some berries.
eats them hungrily and nuzzles against your leg.
Oh god. I'd probably just I'd sort of like maneuver it so that I'm now holding my stick and my basket in one hand, so I've got a free arm to scoop the bear up into my little arms. And I'd probably carry him back into sort of the safe part of the forest.
Okay, so when your mother sees this bear, she instantly falls in love, and she like helps you make some like not milk, but some sort of remedy sort of thing that you could feed it to help it grow and be okay without its mother and that sort of thing. And we are gonna wind forward to age 16.
Okay.
You are on another errand for your mother. You now have a 4-year-old bear with you, a 4-year-old brown bear, who is your constant companion. He sees you as its mother, and protects you with its life, and is a little bit nervous of strangers, but is otherwise, loving and adorable.
Okay.
And your mother's made a remedy for some people at Maine. They're low on some remedy that they make for like just common colds and that sort of thing. Just like a soothing thing to just soothe sore throats, that sort of thing. Nothing special, but it's quite a regular order for your mum, and they trade food, so she sends it quite often, and you usually take it now you're a little bit older. And so as you're walking this time, you see a group of armed men across the other side of the road.
Okay. What are they doing? Are they just waiting? Are they on patrol? What are they?
They are waiting. They are sort of lurking around. They are a little way ahead of you. They are sharpening their swords. They aren't wearing any uniform. They're a bit of a ragtag band.
Okay.
One of them's got a bit of an eye patch thing going on.
Okay. I just probably keep my bear close to my side and just probably try, even though I'm probably certain that they won't let me go past. I'll just try and walk past as much as I can.
Okay. So they bar your way, and now this guy with the eye patch walks forward, and you can see now that he's actually painted a crimson sort of motif of an eye in place of his clearly missing eye, and he just looks sort of intimidating. These men don't look particularly clean, or that they've been looking after themselves. Some of them have drawn marks on their skin to make themselves look more intimidating, and they sort of stop you and say, "Stop! You have to pay a toll."
I just probably look at them and just sort of say, "I've never had to pay one before. Who do you work for?"
This is a toll road. Everyone knows that.
I don't think so. I've been here all my life, and I've never had to pay a toll here. So, where are you from?
It doesn't matter where we're from. We've been sent by the authorities.
Do you have proof of that?
They sort of like look at each other and go, "Oh, come on, lads, get her!" And they attack.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay. Well, let's.
Do you flee, or do you try and stand and fight?
I'd probably stand and fight.
Oh, also, what have you called your bear? You get to name it.
Oh God. I don't know bear names. Bramble.
Bramble it is.
Bramble.
So
Bramble the bear.
Bramble is snarling at the men who have drawn swords on you, whilst you are deciding whether to flee or fight.
Okay. I'd probably take my very large stick and swipe hard at the sort of lower leg, like below the knee
Mhm.
of a man that's closest to me, so to try and sort of upset his balance and send him to
Okay.
the ground.
So you
Just try and basically carve a path between these group of people so that I can then run with my bear.
valiantly charge towards the leader with your large stick, and seeing
Oh, get
this,
him.
Bramble charges also. And there's sort of a moment when the bandits are like, "Ah," and then they sort of realize, hang on a minute, that's 2 tons of bear running towards me right now. And before you can get there, Bramble is swiping and smashing bandits and 100%
Get him.
protecting you. And it doesn't take
My
very
favorite.
long for them to break and run.
Oh,
But as you,
did they drop anything?
they didn't drop anything. They have left some nasty scratch marks on Bramble. He's got a deep cut across his shoulder. He's sort of
Bastards.
a little bit. He's quite, and he's like nuzzling you with a like confused bare face.
Oh, Bramble. Oh, okay. I'd probably just give him a bit of a hug and just say, you know, don't worry, we'll get you.
You're a herbalist daughter. You probably have medicine with you.
That's true, actually. So I'd probably just rummage in my pack and just put on a salve, rub it into his little fur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. He seems much better after this. It's like you've kissed it all better, and maybe because he is after all a 2-ton bear and a little scratch on his shoulder probably wasn't that big a deal. He's now like, oh well, I'm all better now. You know, Mum looked after me, and you carry on and make the delivery fine. No more incidents, and we'll wind forward again. This time to you at the age of 20.
Okay.
And you are again collecting herbs with Bramble following you. Bramble tries to collect herbs with you. He's always done this, where he'll knock over trees and things to try and help you. He's
my little destroyer.
He's not really very helpful with it, but he definitely thinks he is. Like, you're picking flowers,
he tries his best.
So he's trying to pick trees for you and offer them to you and things. Not like standing up. He's just like bang, knocks him down. Like, yeah, see what I've done.
Oh.
And
he's my favorite.
As you are doing this, you hear a familiar sound. You hear the sound of crying a little further into the forest, but not like the same way you heard Bramble crying quite. This is more of a cry for help.
Oh. I was about to say, do I get 2 bears? Okay, so I'd probably, cautiously approach the crying again.
Okay, so as you get closer, you can make out people in common shouting for aid. There's 2 elves in the forest. One is on the ground. And the other explains to you hurriedly. We were attacked by bandits. We fought them off, but my friend, he's taken an arrow to the gut. I'm not sure if he's going to make it. Can you help us?
Of course, absolutely. Put your friend on my bear. We'll be able to carry them back to my mother's house, and she'll be able to help you.
Exactly how you proceed. Yeah, Bramble seems to understand. He carries the elf back on his shoulders with no problem, walking quite steadily to try and stop from dropping him. And your mother sort of tends to the elf. And she manages to heal his gut wound. And he needs a lot of rest and a lot of medical attention. So over the next couple of months, there's quite a lot of him being tended to. Quite a lot of redressing of wounds and making of poultices and salves. But you do start to get the impression that it's taken a bit longer than normal. The other elf sort of trusts in you guys to look after his friend. He'll visit regularly, but he heads back to the forest. And as time passes, you start to wonder why it takes so long for him to be healed. Like, you've never seen a gut wound before, so you're not really sure, but you think in terms of things, this is taking quite a while.
Okay. Yeah, I probably just wouldn't question it. I'd just try and help out my mother.
Okay.
As best I can.
So
I'd sort of give a couple of confusing glances, but I wouldn't ever really question her.
Okay. So she after the next week, the elf whose name is sorry, Lelowin, he returns to his his clan of elves. But your mother
Okay.
still visits very regularly
Mm.
to you know, further tends to his wounds. But
Mhm.
now this is now blatantly suspicious to you. Like, your mother can't
Mm.
be healing him anymore. He can walk fine. He can talk fine. He doesn't really need any poultices anymore. But she continues to visit him.
Okay. Yeah, probably one night when she comes home, I just sort of ask what's going on and what's happening and why she's still going there.
Okay. So your mum sort of sits down and sort of lets out a big sigh, and she just sort of says, "I'll be honest with you, Dwale. I really like that elf, but I worry that he's far too young and that he won't appreciate an older woman like me. I don't think there's been any spark. I kept him here under the pretense of healing him, probably longer than I should. He doesn't really need me to visit now."
I don't think you can change a man's heart just by repeatedly visiting Mother. I think it would have to be something that he himself would feel.
So your mum sort of goes quiet, and yeah, she doesn't really push it any more than that. But a couple of years pass. The clan stays there mainly because your mother insists that the elf needs her to visit in case he has a relapse. But she keeps us going for a year and a half.
Mhm.
And now even the clan elders, they've got some magicians in their clan. They're like, you know what, he's fine. We're gonna move on now.
Yeah.
But over this year and a half, as that becomes more apparent and people become more suspicious of her, your mother's become less the kindly woman you know, and
Mm.
more eccentric, more prone to talking to herself and experimenting with potions and concoctions and trying to
Mm.
make something new. And she doesn't make remedies for Maine or anywhere else anymore. She just sort of keeps to herself. She doesn't really have any time for you.
Okay. Right.
So one evening, your mother asks you for some privacy, which is a strange request. You've never heard her ask this before.
Mm.
I assume you wouldn't question that, though.
No, but I would probably, just because of her behaviour, I'd probably take Bramble and go sit outside the hut, but maybe sort of lean against it to try and catch any words or anything that's going on inside.
Okay. So you can hear your mother chanting rhythmically and scratching on the ground. And after a while,
Oh.
sort of booming voice says, "Who have summoned me?"
Oh, Jesus.
And your mother explains her predicament to this voice that you hear.
Mm.
And the voice says, "A man's heart is a precious thing, and something equally as precious must be sacrificed."
Okay. At this point,
And so
I'd probably get a bit worried, sort of maybe inching back towards the door.
So you hear your mother say, "Anything of mine, take it. I don't, I don't care. I just want the elf." And the voice says, "Not of yours, but of your daughter's, her most prized possession."
No. At this point, I probably open the door a little bit, and
As you do,
yeah, just try and creep in to see what's going on.
as you go to open the door, it flies open into your face, knocking you back.
Oh, God. Okay.
You are bound by a force unknown, as your arms are held to your side.
Oh, God.
And your mother strolls up to Bramble, who trusts her implicitly. And she plunges a dagger into his neck. Ali, Dwale, you are entering your first barbarian rage.
Oh my God. Okay.
As you enrage, you feel your bonds release, and you are standing in a clearing with a dying bear and your mother with a bloody knife in her hands.
I probably just scream in anguish and just try and run at my mother and just push her to the floor.
Okay.
Just sort of screaming why and why over and over.
Control yourself right now. You are raging. As you push her into the floor, you actually push her much harder than you intend to. You recklessly push her, and she flies about 6 feet. As she stands up, you are already on top of her again. Your fist is raised.
I guess I just try and reach for the knife to try and throw it away, or try to. But in my condition, I probably would end up hurting her.
You punch her hand. You slam your fist into her hand repeatedly, making her drop the knife.
Okay.
She blasts you back with magic.
Oh God. At this point, I probably just start crying, just sort of not understanding what on earth is going on, and I probably just scream at her, just asking why and why over and over.
She turns, looking for the voice, saying, well, make me young now, make me young! But nothing answers her. You look away from your mother and see the Bramble staring at you as the last of his life dwindles away.
I probably just run to his side and just bury my head in his fur and just cry, probably.
You lay there for a long time, sobbing into his fur. When you finally look up, your mother is gone.
Oh, right. And Bramble's definitely dead.
Bramble is dead.
And there's nothing I can do to bring him back?
Suppose you could try and copy your mother's ritual.
Okay.
You go try and copy your mother's ritual?
Let's try it.
Okay, so you go into the hut and you look at what she was doing on the floor, and you read through the book she was reading, and you scrabble around for hours trying to figure out how to summon the voice, whatever it was. But despite hanging around your mother for all these years, you've never really learnt much in the way of Arcana, and you can't summon anything. However, as you read, you do see that if you were to take a trophy from the bear, you could assimilate its friendship into your own body as you become a barbarian. It's a book called The Path of the Totem Warrior.
Okay.
And you could...
When they say trophy...
like a tuft of its fur, or a claw, or something. You don't have to...
I was imagining, like, it's...
You don't have to...
foot
No, it just... You could
something.
literally just put some of its claws on a necklace,
okay.
or something like that. So now you are alone at the edge of the forest. You know that Maine is up the road. Not a far walk, but it'd be the first time in about 10 years that you would have walked it without Bramble.
Okay.
You can do that, or you could go look for the elves, or...
Well, I think first and foremost, if I can't do this magic, I want to find someone who can.
Well, probably the best place would be the fortress of the Stronghold of Light would probably know more about magic, but that's a very long way away. But Maine is on the way to that.
Then I'd probably start there, get some supplies, and see if there's anyone else going in that direction so that I could go with them.
Okay. So you make the walk to Maine, and you sort of get there. You only take your hammer with you, and you made your own rock hammer through the years, which is the only possession you take with you.
Okay.
As soon as you reach Maine, a large man in full plate mail armor spots you and says, "You there, halfling girl! Are you a fighter?
It depends on who's asking.
Come,
what do you want?
Come, join us. The armies of evil are gathering to the east."
That's not really anything I'm interested in, thank you. Maybe you can find your luck somewhere else, but not me, thank you.
He hesitates at that. It's the first time anyone's ever said no to him. Like, the armies of evil to him are a stain that needs to be removed from the land. And he tries to persuade you to join again. He tells you about the good pay, about the training.
No. None of it interests me, thank you.
Okay. And we will leave you there.
Okay.
Very short, but I think we've got enough.
No.
How are you feeling after that, Ali?
I didn't kill you for killing my bear. You bastard! You gave me a bear, and I was like, "Yes, a bear." And then you were like, "You hear crying again." I was like, "I get 2 bears." and then you killed the bear, and I was like, "Bastard!" But no, I'm excited.